everyone, and welcome to Movies in the Mancave. Hope you had a wonderful holiday-type season.
Well, yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think that we both did, very much so.
Yes, indeed.
And we are back, and this holiday-type season, I happened to receive a PS3, so I could now play Blu-rays, which is what we've decided to do tonight. And we just wrapped up watching X-Men First Class, my first ever Blu-ray.
Yes, it was a very fun experience, I must say. First Blu-ray. X-Men First Class, if you are not aware, is a prequel to the X-Men trilogy that was released over the last 10 years, I would say.
The fourth one, if you count Wolverine movie.
That's true. Basically, just tells the story of the X-Men, how they came to be, Professor X and Magneto kind of joining forces to unite the mutants against common enemy thing. And then story happens, movie.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think?
I think this X-Men has a very different feel from the other X-Men movies, which felt very action-y and comic bookish. Just kind of in the plot lines and the way people talk and some of the comedy in it.
Mm-hmm.
This one was so much more dramatic and meant to be a film rather than a comic book film.
Right.
And I think that it very much succeeded in doing that. I really enjoy this movie, and I don't even know where to begin. I'll just start with the small stuff. The score was really good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would find myself getting engrossed in the music, which is actually the opposite of what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to know that it's there.
Yeah.
But I think it was just so good that, I paid attention to it and really appreciated it.
And it was set in the 60s, like early 60s, so it had, they had some of the pop hits that you knew from the 60s, and then, the score was kind of made to sound like it was from the 60s, if that makes sense.
James McAvoy?
Yes.
Played Charles Xavier, Professor X, and I thought it was a wonderful casting choice. It's so weird to go from Patrick Stewart to this guy because they're so entirely different.
Yeah, definitely.
But he was so good. Like, he totally wrapped me into his character, and
there were times where he has hair in the movie, and there's times where I'm sitting there looking at him and he's talking, and you can almost see like a young Patrick Stewart. And exactly, if he's bald, and if
I still didn't see it, but still, like, the performance he gave really wrapped me into what he was trying to accomplish with mutants and humans and what he was trying to get done.
Yep.
I love all the supporting mutants that they put in this. There was a lot of them that I didn't really know.
Yeah.
I watched the cartoon when I was a kid. I can't say that I ever really read the comics, so I know some of the backstories and not so much other. It's really cool being able to see Nightcrawler's dad, because I love Nightcrawler in X2, and I believe the guy in this one is Nightcrawler's dad.
I think so.
That cool bamf where they disappear and reappear, just a sweet effect. So he does that as well, and you see, I think it's Cyclops' brother.
Yep,
with the Summers guy with the chest beam.
Right.
So it's really cool just to kind of see how everything ties together. There's a little bit of wink, wink, nod, nod to the other movies, but not super blatant.
Right.
It just really brought me in. I've seen 100,000 training montages in my life.
Yeah.
But that 10 minutes where Xavier is teaching these kids to kind of harness what they know and how to really, channel it and focus it to be great. I just go, that was one of the greatest training montages I've ever seen.
It had its I don't want to say quirky because it wasn't quirky, but it had its little cheesy bits to it. Mm-hmm. Like Banshee falling out the window or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And that's to be expected. But I think like the transitions that they had between
it reminded me of the first Hulk movie, the way they did that to make it feel like a comic.
And I didn't like that. I thought
but it's the same effect.
It felt more like they were going to the kind of retro thing that they were doing with like the music, because it was set in the 60s, and it kind of felt like that, like a retro movies training montage. You got bits and pieces sliding in that way and this way.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's how I saw it.
I just was totally engrossed. It's about mutants and people, but it's so much more than that. Obviously, it's dealing with the Cuban Missile Crisis and U.S. and Russia on the brink of war, and it involves that whole plot, which, it all works well together. And I just felt, not really a spoiler. Obviously, we know Professor Xavier is paralyzed from the waist down. He's in the wheelchair in all the movies. Watching that scene happen, I was practically in tears. I don't want to say how it was, but I was very emotional in that scene. I was like, God.
Yeah.
Even though that, he's going to end up paralyzed.
I was waiting pretty much the whole movie, like, okay, how are they going to do that? Are they going to do it in this movie? Cause I don't know if they're going to go off with a sequel to this and, and Xavier was, was paralyzed in the next one or something. But, right, yeah, it's just kind of, in the heat of how everything's going on and then that happens and it totally, like, for me, I was waiting the whole movie for it. And it came to a surprise. Like, it came as a surprise to me at that point.
Yeah, so. I kind of pushed that to the back of my mind, not remembering it. And all of a sudden, it happens, and I'm like, he's going to be in a wheelchair! Oh, no! I have a couple more things to say, but I don't want to steal all your thunder here.
Just going back to what you were saying about it involves the Cuban Missile Crisis, and JFK is tied in there. And, you see movies do that all the time, where they try to take, historical events and intermingle them and things like that. I don't know that I've seen one do it so well.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Like, and I don't even know how to explain it. It was just done really well. And
it could have been so cheesy taking the actual JFK clips and putting them in there. They could have felt so out of place.
Right.
But I don't think that they did.
No, and that's usually where I think things go wrong is people usually like to take the actual clips and manipulate them, and make JFK say something that he didn't say. Mm-hmm. But as far as I know, these were the actual clips.
I assume so.
As far as I can tell. The supporting actors, mutants, everything. There's a couple that I didn't know, or didn't remember from watching the cartoon and everything. I thought that they were all really cool, but as far as acting goes, they could have used a little work.
Well, they're kids. I mean, they're supposed to be teenagers, which is what they are.
But Banshee reminded me so bad of Ron Weasley from Harry Potter.
I can see that very much.
So bad. Like, the whole time I kept seeing him, and I don't know what... He spoke with some kind of an accent, but I was always expecting Ron Weasley to say something. And then January Jones, South Dakota native. How to put this nicely? She's very attractive.
Yeah? You can just whistle. Oh, a nice whistle.
But
a tasteful whistle.
Yes, that's... But she couldn't act her way out of a bag. Is that the saying? And I think they knew that because I don't know that she ever had a line more than, 10 words. That's like... Fair. Panda January, she says something, and then she's quiet for the next half hour. So
I really wasn't paying attention too much, I guess, to that. No, I think I noticed the standout performances rather than the people who were pulling it back. Where I think you maybe are noticing these guys are bringing the movie down, when I was noticing the guys are bringing the movie down. I don't know. I don't really usually get too into performances generally.
Right.
But there were so many good ones in this.
I think it's just I noticed it her first bit, I noticed it, and I was like, oh god, she's going to be bad the whole time. So then I was waiting for it, and that could be my own fault. Where was I going? I don't know. I really liked it too. I think if you don't know the stories, I think this is a movie that you could actually hop into, and I think it tells it very well. Mm-hmm. There are bits where, like you were saying, there's wink, wink, nod, nod moments where you're not going to get it right away. But that's just when you find out, when they say, such and such, this is whoever Summers. And if you know the X-Men story, Scott Summers is Cyclops, this guy has some other powers, they must be related. Yeah. But other than that, I think they did a really, really good job getting you from,
Knowing the story, for me, it was maddening. Just so frustrating to watch Xavier and Magneto together and, working together and being so great and knowing that they're going to be enemies. Yeah, and it's just you guys, you're such a great team and, you could be such great friends and this could all work out. Just put aside your differences, but you know that they're coming to a divide, so it's so hard to watch that, knowing that they're coming to this falling apart.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's just... is just a killer.
And the same thing with Mystique is in this movie, and she's in the others. And in the others, she's working
Which
with
side
Magneto.
she picks, yeah.
And so, in this movie, well, not all, but most of the mutants are working together with Magneto and Professor Xavier. And so it's interesting to watch them all work together and then go, well, he goes with her and she goes with him, and So I thought they did a really good job.
I was really into who was going where.
I was too.
This is obviously way grander scale rather than Team Edward or Team.
Oh yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's like you're choosing sides in here because both sides make a good
They
point.
make
Like
very
some
valid
of the
points,
things
yeah.
that Magneto is saying, you totally understand given his background.
Oh yeah.
And dang Nazis caused everything. Now you
It
can
is.
trace the
The
entire
Nazis
story
did everything.
back to the Nazis, and they're the ones who caused the whole problem.
It's true.
Just another. Ugh.
Another reason to hate them Nazis.
Dang. So,
Sweet.
I would say it's in the top 5 films I've seen this year.
Really?
Yeah, I just thought it was excellent. I was so wrapped up in the story, which doesn't always happen to me, but
Wow.
yeah,
Very cool.
yep, for sure. Okay, thumbs up.
Nice.
Let's move on from X-Men and move on to our quote from last week. We had a quote winner.
We did, and along with the quote winner, we got a new Facebook like. So I'll take that. Lee Hartog on Facebook. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, let's check out that clip.
Blast this Christmas music! It's joyful and triumphant.
You're a mean one.
Mr. Grinch.
That is Jim Carrey, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
We did
Very
a
good
Christmas
film.
episode last week, and it was just Christmas. You kind of see how it ties in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so we have a tie-in this week.
Oh.
Our new quote, I'm going to try to do this from memory. Yes, dudes and dudettes. Major League Butt Kicking is back in town.
Oh, man.
So,
I'm glad. I missed Major League Butt Kicking.
you know what movie that's from. Jerry's going to tell you where to put an answer.
You can hit us up on Facebook.com/Movies in Mancave or Twitter.com/MancaveMovies, AreaVoices.com. We have a page, and our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yep.
So, write your answer there. Write any comments that you might have for us there. Have you seen X-Men First Class? What did you think? Movies coming out this week? Nada.
Yeah.
Nothing out there. There was like 14 gajillion movies released last week. I don't know why they didn't split it up a little bit, but I don't know.
I'd say best bets are Dragon Tattoo, Mission Impossible.
Sherlock Holmes is still out there.
Yeah.
There's good movies out, just nothing coming out
Nothing
this
coming out
week.
this
So go see another round of the ones you've already seen.
Yep.
All right, that's it for our episode, I think. We'll be
Yes,
back this weekend with a mini episode. New game we'll be trying out, so stay tuned for that.
it out.
Super interesting. And I guess we will see you then and then next week for a full episode, huh? Sound good?
Yep.
It's a date.
Cool.
And Michael Fassbender.
Was that Magneto?
Yeah.
I heard he's in that Shame movie.
Yeah, I heard that one's weird.
You apparently see lots of his Fassbender.